Hello everybody. What you're looking at is a Compaq Armada M700. It was the big brother to what you can see here, the M300 with the additional battery on the back, quite a bit bigger. And this was a professional laptop that was marketed at people who did a lot of traveling. This laptop, despite being from about, I think it's 2000 or 99, is very slim, very light, and very sleek. And it's very well built as well. So let's open this thing up and take a quick look. Now I will point out that this video is going to be done in one cut, so I apologize if I have to readjust the camera, but I'd prefer not to edit it, so just keep that in mind. Up here we have the Compaq Armada M700 name, and this particular model is equipped with the Touchpad. There are some models, and I actually had another one of these at one point, that had a pointing stick and the two buttons were up here. This one has, as you can clearly see, and as I literally just said, the touchpad. So that is nice. Unfortunately, this particular one, the buttons don't work unless you really mash them, but that's just due to age, I assume. This one has a 733 MHz Pentium 3. It was designed for Windows 98 and NT, although it currently has Windows 2000 on it. And if we look here on the palm rest, we can see two nicely textured palm rest cutouts. And of course, the speaker only goes from here to here, but they cut out that whole section. The speakers in this particular one sound terrible, but the ones in my M300 I just showed you sound pretty good. So these things did have nice speakers when they were new. This keyboard is very nice. It does have a little bit of spring to it, which probably won't show up on camera, but you know, it is what it is. It's a pretty nice feeling keyboard, nice sounding. Nothing too special, but it sounds pretty good. Up at the top we have, I guess you would call them media control buttons. And then on either side, we've got the power on buttons. Let's take a look at the outside, and then we'll go ahead and turn this thing on and see what it does when we turn it on. On the left side, we have video out via composite. There's a fan vent that goes across the side here, as well as a Kensington lock, and nothing else on the side. I just want to point out, by the way, that the screen on this thing is very slim, especially for the year that this was released. I mean, the whole laptop is pretty slim. It's about, you know, the width of two fingers. It's quite a slim laptop. And again, that's a selling point of this particular machine, was that it was slim and sleek and designed for travel. On the back, from left to right, there is an infrared port. I don't know if there was ever anything in these two screw holes, but there isn't anything in them now. Just thought I'd point that out. Pretty standard assortment: serial or COM port, VGA, a dock, parallel. There is the power adapter, which I believe is an 18.5 volt 2.7 amp power adapter, a USB 1.1, and one PS2 port. On the other side, we've got two PC card slots. It has a DVD-ROM drive. I don't know if this was a factory option. And by the way, I apologize if I keep going like that. It's hard to look in the camera at the same time. I don't think this was a factory option, although it may have been. The other two that I had, the M700s, did not have DVDs. They just had CD burners. Not really sure what's up with that. It's got a built-in modem and built-in Ethernet, which is very nice to have. And on the front, we've got power indicators, our latch, hard drive, door, as well as audio ports. Taking a look at the bottom, set it down. Underneath here is where the modem is. Here's the Windows 98 product key, a little bit of information, FCC information, etc. 18.5, 2.7 amp power adapter is what this thing requires. And over here we have a battery, which I think in this particular one is good. It doesn't last very long, but it does work. And then there's a cutout for the fan. So I've done enough talking about what this thing looks like on the outside. I'm going to go ahead and plug it in and try to readjust the camera a little bit so that you can see what I'm doing. The tripod's going to make a noise, so I apologize for that. 1, 2, 3. Well, that wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Alright, let's get it centered here, and we'll go ahead and just power it right on. I recently replaced the hard drive in this. It didn't have one when I got it, so I had to put one in there, and I think it's a 20 gigabyte drive, unless... Actually, no, I think this one is a 6 gigabyte drive, because that's what it originally shipped with. And I had one laying around, so I restored it to the original. As I said, this is running Windows 2000, and it runs very well. And in my opinion, this laptop should be running 2000. Maybe XP, but it just seems right for it to run Windows 2000. I can't really explain it. Maybe it's just because I'm a nerd, but that is my opinion. I also, just in case you are interested in this while we're waiting for it to start up, this M700 has no optical drive. None at all. And it's meant to be on a docking station where you can attach an optical drive that way. I actually installed Windows 2000 on this thing, pulled out the hard drive, put it in the M300, and then was able to finish up the installation. So that's just something you might be interested to know. Now I see on the camera it looks like the screen is kind of strobing, or there's bars moving. Maybe that's just the camera, but that is not in person. I don't really know what's going on with that. Go ahead and log in. You'll hear the terrible speakers in a moment. Hard drive is whirring away. I must have turned down the sound because that didn't sound quite as bad as it did when I first started this thing up. The hard drive in here is pretty slow, however it does pass. There are no bad sectors, anything like that. So startup time is a little bit slower than you might expect, but regardless it does still boot up and you can move around the operating system just fine. As I mentioned, the click, the touchpad, doesn't really work that well. The right one works okay, but I'm clicking on properties right now with the left button, and if I really mash it, like, oh, see now I think it's still booting up. If I really mash it'll work, but otherwise it does not work at all. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this thing down. This will actually be going up for sale on eBay shortly after this video is released. If you're watching this a year down the road, it's probably not for sale. I'm sorry. That's just how life goes. So I will put a link to this particular listing in the video description, and I'll leave it there even after it is sold so that you can go and see what it sold for in case that's something you want to see. Otherwise, I'm not going to sell it off of eBay, eBay only, so if you get to it in time, it can be all yours. So here it is, the Compaq Armada M700, in very good condition. Nice laptop, but I have no need for it, so I'm going to let it go. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick overview of the M700. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comments section, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And as always, I thank you for watching, and hope you enjoyed.